Hey y'all, I'm back and we need to talk about this Kendrick. Never mind. Hold on. I'm gonna do my own clap, can I? Hey y'all, I'm back and we need to talk about Drake and Partynextdoor's album. As promised, I have been like seriously looking forward to this, wanting to talk about it. Hey baby. But before we get into that, there was some other good music that was released on Valentine's Day. So let's get into that first, okay? So first, we have Tim's. She released the music video to Boy Oh Boy. Now, this is not a new song. This was released on her most recent project that she dropped last year. But this music video is new, and if y'all have not seen it yet, don't stop right now to go look at it, but definitely go watch Tim's music video for Boy Oh Boy after you finish this video. It was so good. Tim's looks like, ooh, beautiful. Chef's kiss. She looked like a whole milk chocolate bar. She looks amazing, like a bombshell. I love it. I love the concept of the music video, just how they put everything together. It's beautiful. Not to mention the song itself. She is singing about a man who is making her head hurt and raising her blood pressure. I'm sure. I'm sure most of us ladies have been there at some point. In a relationship like that. And Tim's decides to get that man back to the streets. So if you haven't seen it already, go check out Boy Oh Boy music video by Tim's. It is good. It won't disappoint. Second, we have Mariba. Love Mariba. I have been waiting for her to drop something new since 2019, just waiting on a new album. She finally released the album. It is called The Breeze Grew a Fire. It did not disappoint. It's very much classic Mariba, like very true to her usual sound. I don't even know like what genre she would be considered. I wouldn't call it R&B music necessarily. But yeah, so don't get me to line trying to put Mariba in a genre, but the album is good. If you've listened to her past music and that is the sound you liked, definitely go check out A Breeze Grew a Fire, and it's good. Okay, next we have Jacquees and Dej Loaf. Okay, so this is what I was most surprised about. Tim's, I love Tim's. She always drops hot fire, in my opinion. Mariba, I love Mariba. As long as like what she's dropping is on that same sound, that I'm used to getting from her. It's nothing like, it's not too much to critique. That's basically what I want to say. Mariba stays true. She is always giving us something that's good substance. She is singing about things more than like being in love, getting your heart broken. Like the typical like R&B soul type of topics. She goes outside of that. I really love that. She stayed true to that. Now with Jacquees and Dej Loaf, both of these two have voices that normally annoy me, like kind of similar to Trey Songz or like Keith Sweat or who else? I don't know. I can't think of somebody else at the moment, like off the top of my head. But those are two big ones, Trey Songz and Keith Sweat, that I normally have issues finishing a whole project by them because their voice just annoys me. It's just annoying. Like it sounds like they're whining. That's kind of the same thing that I normally get from Jacquees. Not so much Dej Loaf. But on this project, I was actually able to make it all the way from start to finish on the project. And I think it helps that it's not too long. So, it's something good to listen to. It dropped on Valentine's Day. I had a little something planned on Valentine's Day. I was able to listen to that and it set the mood. Y'all be careful. If you're not trying to make a baby, proceed with caution when you listen to this Dej Loaf and Jacquees project. Sidebar, and on like some kind of little messy stuff. What was going on? Okay, so I saw not too long ago that Dej Loaf has some issues, like some drama going on with him, Dreezy, and his current girlfriend, fiance, baby mama. Hey, baby. I don't know exactly what she is to him, but Deandra Sanders, they like had a baby recently, and it was some drama going on. And then Dej Loaf came out, and it was like they were about to have this project. Apparently, Jacquees and Dej might have had something going on in the past. I don't know. When I was like seeing all of this happen in the media, I didn't know any of the backstory. Like I said, I don't follow Jacquees. I don't really follow Dej Loaf. Had no idea who Deandra Sanders was until this whole Dreezy drama came out. So when I actually listened to this album with Dej Loaf and Jacquees, I really liked it. And I saw that they had dropped a music video. So I went to go watch the music video. I cannot remember if the music video was for Body or Backdoor. But just go look it up. It's one of the recent songs off of their current album. When I was watching what was going on in that music video, I was like, oh, baby, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I get why Deandra was upset, if she was upset. And then, there was like some more stuff that came out after the fact that she wasn't allowed on the video shoot. Like, it was a lot. So there is possibly some drama going on there. Jacquees might have been doing that wrong on his girl. But either way, they came out with some good music. I really, really love that album. So go check it out. Okay? Now, the reason that y'all are probably here, let's get to it. Let's talk about some sexy songs for you from Drake and Partynextdoor, okay? Before we get into this, let me just give y'all a couple of little disclaimers, a little information. So this is not going to be a breakdown. We're not doing that. I don't have time for that. As you see, I have a kid. I have a job. I have things to do, okay? I don't have time to give y'all a full breakdown, but we are going to talk a little bit about it. This is mainly just going to be like my thoughts on the album. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a reaction because I'm not going to react to every single song, and I will kind of explain why when we get into like my thoughts on the album. Next, overall, I will say, okay, y'all probably know from previous videos that I am a Kendrick fan. I love Kendrick. I have listened to every single Kendrick project that is dropped ever, like multiple times. Even I wasn't actively listening to him when he dropped Section 80. I came in like around the Good Kid, Mad City era. So I did have to like go back and familiarize myself with his older music. But definitely I would feel confident to say that I have listened to everything that Kendrick Lamar has released to the public, and I'm a huge fan. So now with Drake, I was a huge fan in the past, but to be completely honest with you, as far as Drake's music goes, I have not listened to a project fully through multiple times, like enough for me to know all the songs on there since Views. Views was the last one. What is it? Scorpion has like one song on there that I listened to, Jaded. I love that song. And then Certified Lover Boy, which, to be completely honest with you, I can't remember which one came in what order chronologically for his album drops, but Certified Lover Boy, I love Race My Mind, Fountains, Yeba's Heartbreak, or Yeba, however you say it. Though that's pretty much it. And then after that, like all of his projects after that, I haven't listened to anything on any Future collabs, haven't listened to the 21 collab. I just honestly kind of gave up on Drake after that, after he dropped Certified Lover Boy. And then after that, what did he come? I don't even know. Something for the dogs, for the dog. I don't know. But I just wasn't really interested on anything else after that, to be honest with you. So I just want to say that. So now for the album, although I would not necessarily consider myself a Drake fan anymore, I also think that it would be like unfair for me to just say that this album was complete trash. And so the reason I'm gonna say that is because there's 21 songs on the album. I've listened to this album about 5 times at this point, and there are 9 songs on this album. that I like. Now, I don't know if I would add all 9 of them to like my like songs to where I'm just gonna keep listening to it. But you know, there are some songs on there, 9 out of 21 that were decent. And then there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs that I felt like were complete trash. So, you know, and the rest of the songs on the album I felt like were just okay. It's nothing that I'm gonna like hit save on, nothing I'm gonna download or pay for. But I don't hate them that bad, you know, as I do the 6 that I wrote here. So to just kind of put it into perspective, yeah, so let's get into it. The songs that I loved off of this album, starting with Pimmy's Dilemma. I have no clue who Pimmy is, but I really felt like this project should have started with that song, Pimmy's Dilemma. Basically, everything before Pimmy's Dilemma, it was either or I just didn't like it. Like, I wasn't able. And I think that's why it took me so long. Like, the first 3 times that I tried to listen to this album, I didn't even make it past track 5. I don't remember what track that was, but I remember saying, like, talking to friends and stuff and being like, child, I haven't made it past track 5. So one of the things that I think would have made this album better is if they had just cut off the beginning and started it at Pimmy's Dilemma. And I feel like that also adds to the, like, for me anyway, that adds to me thinking that this was just some throwaway tracks or just like some tracks that Party and Drake had already put together. And then they was just like kind of the same thing I said with the Partynextdoor and Cardi B collab. They were like, hey, you remember that track we made back in 2020 when we was in Toronto? We had just left the strip club. You remember that track? Period. Go on, drop it. Put it on some sexy songs for you. Like, that's the vibe I got. Some of these songs felt dated. And then I get that Drake was trying to maybe pay homage or homage to some songs that he had made in his past. But I don't know. I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. Small Town Fame was good, but then I noticed that it took like a clip, and I don't know if maybe he just used the same sample as this song, but it had a clip off of Jhené Aiko's song, Never Call Me or whatever, when she's like, you should have called me. Why you never call me? That song, something about that I didn't like. I don't know what it was, but I didn't like that. And it might be that it seems like Jhené has dropped like at least a song or two that was maybe alluding to Drake doing some not so cool stuff, you know, between the two of them. But, and it could just be because of his history of like liking to fight with the girls. I didn't like it though. I didn't like him using Jhené's beat on there. So Small Town Fame did not make my list, but okay. Besides Pimmy's Dilemma, Brian Steele, that song was good. So was Give Me a Hug. So Brian Steele and Give Me a Hug were like some of the next 2 songs after Pimmy's Dilemma. They were both good. I love both of the songs. Now, okay, and this, I guess, like when I say this, even me, myself, I feel like it's a little bit unfair maybe, but I really, really wish Drake would not get on this album talking about his beef. And I know it's like, I don't want him to talk about his beef. I don't want him to talk about being in a strip club. I don't want him to talk about taking other men's women. So it's like, what should he talk about? But I don't know. I feel like all these other rappers, all these other musicians are able to come up with something else to talk about besides those topics. Drake should be able to do the same. And so just the topics kind of took this album down a couple of notches for me. And I just want to say that because although I did really, really like 9 of the songs on this album, there's already 2 of them that I don't like the content of what he's talking about. So those off rip already gone. Pimmy's Dilemma, I love it. I saved it. That track does not include any Drake or Partynextdoor on it. That's one of those like interludes that Drake has been doing for years now that has another artist that we all might not know that well that he is highlighting. So I'm like, does that even really count, you know? And then something else that I do just want to point out too is I listened to this Drake album 3 times. Like, it took me a fourth listen before I was able to get past track 5. And the only reason that I even gave it that many chances, like normally if I listen to a new project that dropped from an artist that I like and it's not clicking, like I'm not now I get that some projects are growers. Like the first time you listen to it, you might not love it. You might need to give it a couple of runs. So I am always willing to give a new project 2 to 3 listens fully through in order, like in the order that the artist put it together and released it to us. If I get to like that second, maybe third listen and I'm not feeling it, that's it. Like I'm just about to chalk it up and be like, okay, this project ain't for me. This must be for some of their other fans. With this Drake album, honestly, people were saying that Kendrick stuff only blew up so big because he was beefing with Drake. But I would honestly be willing to argue, because I've seen more people than just me say this, like on TikTok, Twitter, whatever, social media. Drake only got as many listens as he did because of the people who tuned into this beef who did not want to be biased. And I think it really was a lot of us, especially Kendrick fans, because at this point, our dude already won. He already won. So like for Drake and Party to release this, it has nothing to do with Kendrick at this point. It's not like if he releases this album and it goes #1, that's going to take away from any of the success that Kendrick had during this beef. So I think a lot of us were tuned in. We want to know, like, is Drake still going to be on top? He released something with Partynextdoor. We have a clear expectation of what kind of quality Drake and Partynextdoor should give us. So is this project up to par with what we've seen from them in the past? You know, I think a lot of us were genuinely tuned in, like wanting to see something great happen from Drake, even if we were Kendrick fans, and he just did not deliver that. And I think a lot of us too, if it hadn't been for the fact of trying to deliberately not be biased, we would have never even given his album as many plays as we did. There's no way that, like, okay, let's say this Kendrick beef never happened. Drake dropped the project. I gave it a listen. I gave it 2 listens, and I wasn't able to make it past track 5. Period. That's it. I would have never continued trying to listen to it like I did in the past. So just like there's all of these Drake fans out there arguing that Drake boosted Kendrick's listens and streaming and all of that, I feel like it's a reasonable argument to also say that Kendrick boosted Drake and Party on this most recent project. If y'all don't agree, you don't agree. Argue with your mama. So, all right. So now, back to the tracks. Brian Still, Give Me a Hug was good. Okay, Give Me a Hug is what is circulating the most. You know, he had that Melissa Ford controversy. He said some stuff up in there about Joe Budden. And again, it's almost like it is a sickness. Drake cannot keep women's name out of his mouth. He cannot do it. I really don't know what else to say about it. He didn't mention Melissa Ford. He didn't mention, hey, baby. He mentioned Joe Budden, like, you know, piggybacking off of the Melissa Ford comment. And I really feel like trying to cause some controversy in their camp. And I don't know if y'all watched the Joe Budden podcast, but it kind of seems like it's working, which is sad. Raining in Houston. Love that song. I love Raining in Houston. I love When He's Gone. But I will say that on both of those songs, he has verses taking shots at American men. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I'm not an American man. So, you know, and we already know Drake don't like women. So I feel like the shots that would have felt some type of way towards me as a woman and as a Black woman specifically already happened. So now it's up to y'all. Were y'all listening to the lyrics, man? Did y'all hear those shots he threw? How could you cry over an American man? How could you let an American man do you this way? How y'all feel about that? Especially, and now 21 Savage ain't American, so maybe that's why he feels okay with doing it. But didn't him and Future make up? Is he not cool with Jay Prince? Is Jay Prince not American? I don't know. Y'all fill me in if I'm missing some things, but I thought that was very shady, very not cute, very zesty. I didn't like it. But I do like those songs. I'm gonna play them again. I did save them to my playlist. Raining in Houston and When He's Gone. When He's Gone, there has been some speculation that this could have been like a hypothetical song to Whitney, Kendrick's wife, fiance, girl, long-term girlfriend, baby mama, whatever you consider her to him. Is some speculation that this may have been like a real or an imaginary conversation with Whitney. What y'all think about that? Do you think it's a reach? I feel like if this was meant to be like a conversation with Whitney, it was imaginary. It's not something that actually happened. Maybe like if I were to talk to Whitney, this is what I would say to her type thing. If Whitney's listening, this is what I want her to know. You know, that's as far as I think it would go. I don't think it's anything real. Okay. Nokia. Baby girl. What the fuck the function? Now, that song is good. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nokia is a bop. But are we really gonna sit here and act like whoever was singing that, and it might not be Drake, but it kind of sounded like Drake. Whoever was singing that baby girl sounds very zesty. It's not helping Drake's case. It's not. It's not helping his case with him walking. And I don't even like when people call stuff zesty or when people call men zesty. I don't like it because I feel like we learn a new word and then we use it where it don't apply. But this right here, this is what the word zesty was made for. That's really what I think. So I love Nokia, but it didn't help the zesty compliments and accusations when it comes to Drake. Okay. Somebody Loves Me. Love that song. And it is kind of heavy on Partynextdoor. I felt like when I was listening to the album, I wished that there was more Partynextdoor. And that was probably part of the issue that I had with this album too, is I don't know, I felt like, first of all, Partynextdoor should have got this collab with Drake literally 12 years ago. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, like at least 12 years ago, when he got with OVO, he should have been had this. So for it to come out now when all this controversy is happening, and not even just Drake getting into a rap battle, like even if he had dropped this after his beef with Pusha T, where he clearly lost on that one too, but even if he had dropped it then when he was still like flourishing as far as the music, I would have felt a little better about it. But I really don't like this for Partynextdoor. I feel like this collab is long overdue, and the timing of it gives he don't care about Party. And then the fact that he didn't really like give Partynextdoor the amount of shine or the airtime that I expected him to have. Like, this felt like a Drake album with a couple party songs in there. Like, even on albums where it was actually Drake's, Wednesday Night Interlude, I love that song. That is a song that I can listen to just that one on repeat. Just repeating for a whole night, fall asleep to it, cook dinner to it, whatever. I love that song. I felt like there was no equivalent of that on this album, or even like Come and See Me, a song that has both of them that I can just sit and listen to it on a loop. There was nothing like that. And I don't know, this album just kind of felt like they just threw some stuff together. It wasn't necessarily a new sound. It wasn't an old sound of their best stuff. It just, and that's why I say it just kind of really felt like throwaways, you know? So yeah. Next, we have Die Trying. I like Die Trying, but the music on the song reminds me of Messy by Lola Young. 'Cause I'm too messy and I'm too effing clean. La 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 da 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 da. You know that song. I don't know all the words, but so like I like the song Die Trying, but now that I've heard Messy by Lola Young, and then Die Trying is not as good, but it sounds like they like use the same beat. I don't know. That just kind of, I ain't gonna lie, that takes something away from Die Trying for me, because I hear like a version of Messy that's not as good. if that makes sense. Okay, and then Greedy. I love Greedy. I saved it to my like songs. I'll definitely listen to it again. But that's pretty much it. Pimmy's Dilemma, Brian Still, Give Me a Hug, Raining in Houston, Nokia, Die Trying, Somebody Loves Me, When He's Gone, and Greedy. Those are the songs I really liked off of the album, enough for me to go listen to them again. Okay, so now let's quickly get into songs that absolutely should have been removed. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have at least 5 of them that there's no way they should have made it to the album. That already brings us down to 16 tracks. And then that's not even including like a couple other songs that I felt like didn't really need to be there, but they were like iffy. And that's why I say this album would have been so much better if it had started at Pimmy's Dilemma. Okay, so now let's quickly get into the tracks that I hated. Crying in Chanel. I wanted to like this song so bad. And even when I was like looking at social media and what other people were saying about the song, after I had listened to the album maybe like 3 times, I was like, why is nobody talking about Crying in Chanel? It's because the beat changes ruin that song. It pissed me off. And I felt like this is part of the problem too. After like the 4th listen to the album, songs in that first 5 that I had been like, well, they're okay. I didn't even like those songs no more. So, and Chanel, Crying in Chanel was the main one. I did not like it. Next, we have Lasers. That's another song that people are speculating might possibly be about Whitney. If it is, I just don't even know what to say about it. If that was about Whitney, it's very lame. It's very F-boy. It's very, I don't like it. I'll just say that. Okay, so we'll just skip past that. But Lasers, I didn't like it. Meet Your Padre. This song was terrible. This song was literally terrible. And this is how I know that this Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef has like gone to a new level that we have never seen beef before. Not only did I have my daddy, who is a pastor and has been preaching since I was in like second grade, literally like, I ain't gonna age myself, but it's been a long time, baby, like decades, okay, that he has been preaching, and he's been a pastor since I was in 5th grade. Again, honey, decades. So, and he does not listen to anything but gospel and Michael Jackson. Like, I kid you not, he listens to gospel and Michael Jackson, that's it. He called me asking about Kendrick Lamar. Okay, my mama, who is a big music buff, but she doesn't listen to like any new school rap. She is more into new R&B. So she'll call me and ask about people like Alex Isley, like Sir, Lucky Day, like what R&B music am I listening to right now? And then I'll put her on that. But never does she ever call me and ask about Drake. So the fact that my mama sent me a clip of Meet Your Padre, and she was like, girl, please tell me I'm behind the wave. Please tell me I'm just getting too old for this. There is no way Drake really released this. I was like, baby girl, he released that. He did. Even after Kendrick called him a colonizer, that's what he chose to do. And I feel like this is more than just rapping in Spanish like we have seen artists do. We've seen artists rap in Spanish. We've seen them sing in Spanish. Beyonce has several songs that she made on a Spanish collab. It has fared very well for her in Spanish-speaking countries and South America, even places like Brazil where they're not a Spanish-speaking country. But, like in that culture, it has fared well for her. People like Sir. Kendrick even got, what is it? The Recipe? Women, Weed, and what? Is it The Recipe? Or is it Collard Greens? I don't know, but there's a song. It's either The Recipe or Collard Greens where Kendrick raps in Spanish. Something about it hits different when you first of all, got called a colonizer. Then you on your album talking trash about American men when that's the main colonizing that you did. You made your way from the West Coast down to the South, over to the Southeast, down by Atlanta. It sounds like he was trying to get down to Florida with X, but we ain't gonna get into that because, baby, yeah. And then possibly even trying to make it up to New York, but I just don't think he's been very well accepted in that area. Um, yeah. You already been called a colonizer and you're showing more colonizing traits with this Meet Your Padre. And then outside of that, the song sucked. It was not a good song. So hated it. Celibacy, hated it. I even wrote down when I was listening to that song because I was shocked by how many people kept coming saying that Celibacy was one of their favorite songs. I hated that song. Let me quote you a lyric, okay, from Celibacy. Pour me a shotty, let it flow through my body. Body, body, body. Is this what you want? So basically, to break the song down, Drake on here begging for sex. He's begging. He asking to get the girl drunk. It's just a mess. It's terrible. It's not helping his case as far as anything goes. Celibacy is trash. Glorious. Okay? This is a song. Okay, when I heard Glorious, and this is the song where he is still in Ice Spice's flow. He's doing his gra, because, you know, he low-key want to be a bad bitch anyway. I'm sorry, but I am convinced that Drake wants to be a bad bitch, and that is his goal. That is where he's headed. I don't know how it's going to go now since this Kendrick Lamar situation happened, but that is what Drake wants. I'm convinced. You cannot convince me differently. Like I said before, argue with your mama. He dropped this. I feel like he needed to be Ice Spice's ghostwriter because I actually like this and I don't like Ice Spice. I feel like he did a better job rapping like Ice Spice than Ice Spice does with rapping like herself. So I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked it. But what makes me know that I'm never gonna listen to this song again, it's not something I'm about to add to my playlist, is the fact that you still on here talking about women. You are still on here talking about women, and I like that. Just, I don't have any respect for that. I really don't. That's just like people say women, children, you know, family members and things like that need to be left out of certain stuff. Drake has some sort of weird obsession with involving women, and I'm pretty sure that this song Glorious is also dissing what's his name, Riot, Ice Spice's man who makes her beats. Pretty sure he's in there dissing Riot. It's like, if you got a problem with Riot, which you clearly do, go at Riot. You know, what's the reason that you are mentioning Ice Spice? You got her voice clips in here, and I'm not an Ice Spice fan, but it's just like, leave that lady alone. She haven't said nothing to you. Drake always out here trying to snitch, trying to let people know who he was dealing with in the past. He did the same thing with Serena, did the same thing with Rihanna when they wasn't trying to claim him. Here he go. He needs the world to know that he was dealing with these beautiful, like, well-loved women, and it just, again, like I said on my last podcast, like, I am just icked out by Drake at this point, and I'm sick of him. I want him to go away. Drake, you dropped your album. Maybe we'll be listening to Nokia this summer. But that's about it. We might be like, baby girl, what the function? Maybe give me a hug. But other than that, you need to go away. Go away. Go away. And then maybe we'll be ready for you again, like, maybe try us in the winter, spend the rest of this year coming out with some good quality music. Maybe not even a winter, maybe come back next spring. Just go, you know, finish your tour. Don't do any more gimmicks. Stop bringing our attention back to this beef, and maybe you'll be good from there. But yeah, y'all, that's what I thought. I did my best to listen to this album as unbiased as possible. I tried to listen to it from the perspective, like, as if the Kendrick beef never happened. But if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, before the Kendrick beef, I wasn't really messing with Drake like that since Views. So maybe I'm already biased. I haven't really fooled with Partynextdoor like that since PND 2. But I had high hopes for both of them. I was listening with an open mind. I even listened to the album more times than I normally would, solely off of the fact that I wanted to make sure I was giving good commentary and that I was giving Drake a fair chance. But to be honest with you, I gave him more than a fair chance, because it ain't no other artist that I listen to or follow that I would give 4 and 5 listens on the album when I couldn't make it past track 5. Finally, I just shuffled the album. I was like, forget it. Let's just shuffle. Maybe I'll make it through like that. And I did end up getting all the way through. But the album overall, I feel like to say it's trash is a bit much, but it was not really good. It's not something that I'm going to go back and listen to. It's not something that I saved very many songs from. And that's just the truth. It is what it is. So yeah. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. What was your favorite song off the album? What was your least favorite song? Were you feeling the album? Were you not feeling it? Leave your comments on like why that was your opinion. Did you see growth in Drake? Also, let me know, did y'all watch the Boy Oh Boy music video by Tems? What did y'all think? Wasn't she gorgeous? I love Tems. I freaking love Tems. I love Tyler too. Y'all could never make me hate Tyler. But them two ladies, Tyler, Tems, Ayra Starr, I love those ladies. Also, did you listen to the Jacquees and Dej Loaf collab? What did y'all think? Do y'all think DeAndre should be concerned? Did you watch the music video? Leave some comments down below. Let's get the discussion started. I'm very curious to know what you guys think. And we will see you next time. Bye.